understanding where his word is concerned, knowing that God has everything in order. I received something this morning, and it was something that really kind of made a lot of sense to me. It was one of those things that I often kind of remind myself, and I kind of think in that particular vein at times myself. It was talking about some of the things that we ask God for. God is giving it to us, but he's giving it to us in a way that we are to be made to move in that direction and not just given. In other words, if you've been praying for patience, God's not going to he's not a magician. He's not doing magic tricks. Well, boom, now you got patience. That ain't how it works. If you ask for patience, he'll give you reasons to be patient and to develop your patience. I had a preacher to send me this information, and it really blessed me. When you say, Lord, I just want my family to be more loving, he ain't going to just give everybody a warm and fuzzy feeling. You already know your people. You know everybody in your family ain't warm and fuzzy. But what he will do is he will give you opportunities to love out of the box. And that will develop love in the family. So there's a lot of things that we have been, we've kind of trained ourselves to believe to be a certain way. And God is proving through his word, and as we go forward, that he has a plan to get us to a desired place. See, there's a plan to get you to a place. It ain't just poof and you in the place. That's not how that works. And now, don't get me wrong. I better hurry up, because I know I'm not the only one in here that have had any kind of relationship with God. But now God can do things instantaneously. He can do things like that and turn a thing around if he wants to. But a lot of times, me knowing me like I know me, if you turn it around for me without me having to be a part of the process, sometimes it don't last long. It's in and out. We back right in it, You're almost like Jeffrey Osborne. Every time I move, I lose. I'm back in again. I'm back out again. Sometimes when God takes someone out of our lives, and they ain't got to be dead, they just separate in relationships. And sometimes we are so accustomed to being in a relationship, we don't know how to be by ourselves. And God is saying, I want to do something with you, but I can't do it with you and him. Or I can't do it with you and her. I need you by yourself. I don't need you to have to check in to a situation. Let me tell you why I'm telling you that, because once God put a man and a woman together, there is a mutual respect that even when God is doing something with you, you feel like you need to say, honey, I need to be doing this because this is what God is doing with me. Prayerfully, if you all are on the same wavelength, she's not going to reject any time that God is doing something with you unless she's not in God. Now, if she's not in God, you can't get her to respond to you godly. We need to stop trying to make folk that ain't godly act godly. Especially when we ain't always been godly. My hand only one up. Y'all look around the room, see is my hand only one up. Because I know I ain't always been, I've always understood what it was about, but I ain't always practiced it. So I just wanted to tell you a little something to, food for thought in case some of y'all got to leave at 3. I've had a few people who told me I got to leave at 3. I looked at them, I said, me too. I'm normally late though when I have to leave like that. I thank God for each and every one of you. What a mighty God we serve. I'm going to tell you this. I talked to you on last week about something. I talked about it's time to lose weight. Is that right? And, you know, we came out of Hebrew, and, you know, Hebrew had made a statement that let us lay aside every weight, you know, and the sin, you know, that so easily beset us, and let us run. So it's like weight off so we can run. And I just introduced it on last week. I think we're going to have to touch it at least one more time after today. And today I want to talk about just a few things. Now, I can't deal with all of it because it's too many. Because some of us are weighted down with so much stuff. If you start pulling the stuff off that you weighted down with, you'll fill up this room. Some of you don't know how strong you are because you're carrying so much. Did y'all get that? I hear people all the time, Angela, they quick to say, you know what, I'm just so weak. Look what all you carrying. You should be weak. You shouldn't even be moving. So I wanted to talk to you about a few things. I got about 3 because they kind of in-house several things within themselves, you know. It's almost like in Galatians when it talks about the fruit of the Spirit. But then it tells you to cut it open because it's stuff in the fruit. It ain't just the fruit itself, because it talks about love, patience, that's stuff in the fruit. So there are the few of the things that I'm going to talk about today that I want you to recognize. I'm not going to talk 3, maybe 3. I'm thinking 3, if I can get to 3 before my 3 o'clock people leave. I was so blessed when they said 3. I said, wow, Lord, you gave me 3 things to talk about. 3 particular things, and they're leaving at 3. But God knows me, so he probably looked at me and said, yeah, but if you ain't have one thing to talk about, you still going to be there till 4. We got a lot going on, y'all. I'm going to tell you something that you may want to struggle with, but you'll bring yourself to release yourself from the struggle at some point. We got a lot going on, but I found out something. Sean, we've always had a lot going on. There's never been a time since you've been in this earth and before you got here and after you're gone that it ain't going to be a lot going on. The difference is sometimes the lot ain't concerning you. See, a lot of times when you're in a peaceful place, somebody's in turmoil. So it's still a lot going on. It just does not affect you. Did that do good for anybody? So when it starts affecting you, don't spaz out. Don't go to the crazy place. Just be honest with yourself and say, you know what? It's my turn. Because one thing about it, all of us get a turn at trouble, at problems, and sometimes when sickness comes, we get all bent out of shape, and people start telling us, I don't know, don't look like you gonna make it. It didn't look like you were gonna make it when you made it. Don't put that on me. It don't look like I'm gonna make it. What you mean? What does not gonna make it look like? Let me go through my time and my spell of sickness and come back up. Got the same thing you had. You made it. I was looking at, and I don't mean to bring anybody down with this, but I was looking at an obituary of a dear friend of mine, Pastor Ronald Antoine, who pastored the Bethel Baptist Church and down in the Roberta area. I was just looking at it, and I thought about how is it that me, as a flesh and blood human being, how is it that I can think that he had to go that way, but I don't? See, my kids are a little crazy. They're a little eccentric. They got issues. My foe, my biological foe, they got stuff. Because anytime I start talking about having to go, Dad, nobody want to talk about that. You ain't going nowhere. Excuse me? You mean I'm going to stay forever? Forever, ever? Hopefully, I would have done enough in their lives that my memory never goes away. Oh, but I'm going away. Like Walter Hawkins say, to a place prepared just for me. Okay. I ain't finna sing, because I got to tell y'all about this weight before it takes us out. Because it will. The medical profession says that carrying a lot of weight will eventually, it'll take you out. But that ain't even the kind of weight we talking about. I want you to know, in this spiritual walk, I used to hear preachers say it all the time. Pastor Aaron, I know you've heard it, where preachers are quick to say, "But Doc, you were walking heavy." They just didn't know how heavy I was walking. I wore out when I got finished because of the weight I'm carrying. So I want to talk to you today, and I want to start out and just go to it and do it. And I'll tell you what scriptures I'm going to base some things on. The first thing I want to talk to you about, and it's a blessing to me, because I wanted to share with you what are some of the things that cause us to be overweight. We've talked about being overweight. I'm good, Minister Aaron. I'm good. But one of the things that I'm going to start with that causes us to be overweight, the first thing that I have on my list, and it may not be first on your list, but it's first on my list, but I know it's on your list. Did you understand that? You may not have it in number one on my list, but it's on your list. I can remember counseling some people that I was getting ready to marry, and I normally counsel like this. I'll tell the bride-to-be to write down 4 things that will make or break the relationship. Write 4 things down. And I'll tell the groom, you do 4 too, and I put them in different places where they're not communicating, but I want them to give me what will make or break it for them. Do you know, in all the time that I have married people, most of the time 3 out of the 4 will appear on both of their lists. And I said that to say, it might have been number 1 on her list. It may have been number 3 on his. But it was on the list. So I want you to know that today, as I get ready to start, my number 1 may not be your number 1, but it's on your list somewhere. And the number 1 thing that causes us to have to carry weight is unforgiveness. Now, you can do what you want to do with that. You can say, not me, I don't have nothing against nobody. Watch me prove you wrong. You know, you can not have anything and still not have forgiven someone. Let me help you with something real quick. And like I said, that's the first thing on my list. Now, unforgiveness, if you were to have it defined, it is when you're unwilling to forgive someone for, and I'm leaving that blank. And the only reason I'm leaving it blank, because you got to fill in the blank. That there are things that you're unwilling to forgive someone for. Now, we have misunderstood the difference between forgiving and hanging together again. Well, I thought you said you forgave me. Why we don't never hang out like we used to? Because I don't want to have to forgive you again. So I got the forgiveness out the way. Now you go that way. I'm going to go this way. And you know, you got some folk that won't forgive you because of who you with. I'm just going to touch a few things because some of y'all ducking me today, and I need to, so I know for some of y'all I need to reach up under the bench because y'all hiding and carrying on. But it's when you're unwilling to forgive someone for. Your four and my four might be different fours. In other words, my reason and your reason could be different. But the fact of the matter is, they're both unforgiveness. Are you there? Now, Matthew 6 chapter, the 14th and the 15th verse, it kind of talks about, and you can read it, but I'm going to just kind of give it to you in layman's term. Basically, God says, if you ain't willing to forgive, I ain't going to forgive you. He ain't even bringing the other person into the equation. So you can't go into, well, God, you know what they did to me. God said, I don't want to deal with them right now. Huh? I got some stuff I want to deal with them with later. I want to deal with you. Huh? And he says that in 14, I'm not going to do it. And then he says in 15, basically, and I'm still in that layman's term, just giving it to you so you can read it, and I'm going to help you make it make sense. He says, if you're not willing to, if you're willing to forgive men their trespasses, then the Father will forgive you yours. But if you're not willing, neither will the Father forgive you yours. Now, let me tell y'all something real quick, because I'm finna get in trouble. I already see trouble easing up close on me, but I'm finna get in him. I'm finna ask you a question, and I do not want an answer. I want you to go home and reconcile your own brain and decide, and don't call me when you get your answer. Just have your answer. Huh? Can you be saved without unforgiveness? Now, see, we're going to struggle now, because some of us are quick to say, yeah, but Well, first of all, I thought, and I understand, accepting Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, the Bible says thou shalt be saved. So I can be saved without forgiving, or can I? Because what I really need God to do for me is forgive me of my sin. Uh-oh. He done crossed us up again. Watch this. Now, if I need him to forgive me of my sin, and he said, I ain't doing it unless you forgive other folk, then am I saved if I haven't forgiven? I know. Go home. Don't do it here, because this is not time to argue. I just wanted to give you something to think about, because sometimes we're quick to hold on to, I ain't letting that go. And you don't even realize what you're really saying is, I ain't letting it go, and God, don't let yours go toward me. Ooh. Because in order for him to release me, I got to be willing to release somebody. Am I doing good teaching? Okay. I know I'm going to come under fire, but I'll be okay. So this is what I want you to understand about unforgiveness, and so you'll understand why it is so important. It's so important. It's so important. Brother Andy, do me a favor. Put the fans on me right now. Put the fans on me. I want you to understand this, though. Watch this. This thing about unforgiveness, and normally I don't stop, or it don't stop at unforgiveness, because unforgiveness is a breeder. Some animals are raised just to breed. Did y'all understand that? That's all they got to do all day. You got some dogs that his sole purpose, Jeff, is to just breed. In other words, make other dogs. See everybody backing up now. How did we get over here? We talking about unforgiveness. How did we get over here? Well, unforgiveness, watch this. Unforgiveness is a breeder. And normally, after breeding, it will eventually give birth to something. And y'all may not believe this, but unforgiveness gives birth after it has bred. It gives birth to hate. Because the longer you hold on to unforgiveness, at some point, you're going to have to turn the corner. And now, it ain't just that you have not forgiven that person, but you kind of hate them now. Because there has to be something that's causing you not to be willing. So unforgiveness is a breeder. Oh, God, that boy went somewhere right there. Yeah, eventually, we'll give birth to hate. And then it becomes harder to forgive because hate gonna give birth to resentment. And once resentment grow up, it turns into vengeance. Y'all still following me? You tracking me? And now you're ready to use something that don't belong to you. Because God said, vengeance ain't supposed to be used by you because it's mine, saith. Y'all in the word, ain't you? So now, did you see? I'm walking it back now. Now, vengeance, we got to hurry up and forgive because forgiveness is looking for something to breed with. Huh? And it don't take but one person to push the button to make you breed from unforgiveness. Child, how you doing? I heard how he treated you. You ready to breed right then. Because it's being brought back to your understanding. You might have been kind of let it go because normally the only time you really struggle with it is when you're in the environment where it happened. So don't let it get all the way over there to vengeance because if anything you take revenge on, then God has to take revenge on you for using his stuff. Because he said, vengeance is mine. So when you decide that I'm going to get revenge on this one, then God said, then I'm going to have to get revenge. And your revenge can never be as devastating. Because see, when somebody gets revenge on you, the worst thing that can happen is, you feel a certain way at a certain time, but you still can sleep. But when God starts pulling vengeance moves, can't sleep, call them out. Can't sleep, can't eat, can't think straight. So that number one on that list, that's why it's so heavy. It's heavy, y'all. And that's weight that we got to lose. And it's possible to lose that weight. Shouldn't be nothing, some of y'all my age, shouldn't be nothing in the 80s got you still jacked up. We're in 2024. 1984. And spiritually, many of us are operating just like the Hatfields and the McCoys. Many of us are being unforgiving about something we don't even know how it started. Grandmama say we don't fool with them. You're going to mess around and find out your grandmama the one who was jacked up. You got brothers who need each other and won't help each other because of unforgiveness. Mama always liked you more than you like me. Unforgiveness. Sometimes it don't seem like much, but it's devastating because it pulls God into stuff. You don't want God in nothing that's going to be against you. He's promised that I will forgive you. Think about this real quick, and I'm going to move on to the next thing. What is it that God won't forgive you for? I know some of y'all are going to say blaspheming against the Holy Spirit and doing, I know y'all got your little spiritual books out and you done figured out stuff, so put them books up. Ain't nothing you done did that God won't forgive you for. He waiting on you. Okay? Y'all got that? I'm going to come down this way because I want to walk back up that side. There's nothing God won't forgive you for. I'm going to say something when I get right to the center right there. There's nothing that God won't forgive you for. So why is it something that you won't forgive someone for? I walked it out. Because I'm glad that you're finding humor. Because I found humor when I was kind of putting this stuff pen to paper. But then it got to a point to where it wasn't funny no more. Because it got to a point to where I'm carrying something that's really tearing me up, wearing me out, causing me to have bad spiritual knees, causing me to have hips that are going the wrong way from the weight spiritually. Huh? And it's all because I refuse to forgive. That's weight, y'all. We need to drop that weight. I like when Misha used to get up here. She don't do it much now. She'll do it now, but I'm finna say it. She used to, whenever she would come up to give welcome, she would turn around and she would say these words. She would say, first of all, we are here and our shepherd is free. I guess she think I ain't free no more. I don't know. But I'm telling you, I got a lot of things that I worry and concern myself with, and I pray and I ask God to help me with the worrying because that's not of him. See, it's little things that you think are not affecting you, but it becomes weight. But I am free when it comes to forgiving. You got to be willing to forgive. What's the next thing? Okay, unforgiveness. We got that. That's it. Okay, let me move on. Let's go from unforgiveness. We got that. Y'all got that wrote down? Yes, sir. Let's go over to Exodus 20 and 17. Forgiveness, we found some things that were very significant in Matthew 6, 14 and 15. But now in Exodus 20 and 17, we find that there's another weight that is very devastating. And it's not only devastating the church and the believers, but it's devastating almost everyone in the world. And it's called covetousness. Now, we don't really understand covetousness as we think we do. So I'm going to tell you, covetousness is one of those words that's almost like a fruit of the Spirit. It's stuff inside of covetousness that we overlook. Oh, but I'm cutting it open today. I want you to see it for what it's worth. First of all, covetousness is a strong wish or desire to have something that belongs to someone else. Did y'all get that? Now, there's a difference in covetousness and when you want something that someone has, but you don't want theirs. Let me back that up so you'll understand it. The first time I saw Sister Rubinetta's truck, I said, God dog it. I like that truck right there. Oh, boy, I would love one like that. I never desired to have hers. I stayed out the way of being in that covetousness place, but I want one. And I found out they made more than just one. Huh? Now, I was showing a little covetousness when I talked to Misha last week because I told her, I want your car. I ain't talk about one like hers. Give me yours. Let me show you what happens when you cut that thing open. It's a desire, remember. Stay with me now. A strong wish or desire to have something that belongs to someone else. I want you to see this. I wish covetousness could stop right there, but it don't. Why does it not stop? Because if you cut it open, which is what I'm finna do, you got some other things inside of covetousness, because if you stay in that place of coveting somebody's stuff long enough, jealousy will jump out. And when jealousy jump out, it'll pull behind it envy. Now, can I show you the difference between enviousness and this other stuff that you want to say? Well, but that ain't, I don't really envy. I just this, that, and other. Let me show you what enviousness is. Envy is when not only do you want what they got, but you don't want them to have it. Now let me show you, let me help somebody, because if I don't help somebody right here's nephew, I'm gonna be in a bad place. First of all, I know some folk who will look at what you got and they'll say, you don't deserve to have that. That right there suggests they are envious. I know some folk that'll see you with somebody and they'll say, you know what, how they get together? You don't deserve to be with her. If you knew what you was envious of, you wouldn't even look at that. You'll be like, I'm glad they got him. Envious. Envious is in there. And you may not want to believe this, but if you stay in that covetousness place long enough, not only is envy in there, but lust will jump out. See, David had a problem. I like to talk about David because God was crazy about David. Y'all don't even get it. Y'all don't even realize the kind of people God crazy about. Y'all trying to become something for God to be crazy about you. And God is sitting there saying, but I like the crazy one. I know I'm finna get in trouble now. Well, no, I ain't a big enough preacher to get in trouble by what I say, because ain't nobody viewing my page that much, no way. But I can tell you this. I remember when that Barry girl and David Justice hooked up. I wasn't supposed to say his whole name. I apologize. But I remember when the baseball guy and the actress got together. All of the brothers were standing around saying, oh boy, woo. But then guess what I found out? Not long after that, they would see that little sports car of David Justice over there off of Bankhead. Can I tell you what I just told you? Sometimes you're envious of something. If you hang around it long enough, it ain't worth. Hope I ain't said enough to get in too much trouble. I know I said a lot right there. I've kind of put people's names out there. David Justice, hoorah, you're a good baseball player. I apologize. I'm past. I'm gone. Y'all, let's talk about something else so we won't get caught up and get it. But because of the fact that you watch it, David watched her. He was, first of all, he was coveting his neighbor's wife. I know we ain't supposed to talk about this kind of stuff in church because it's real stuff and it's what God wants the preachers to talk about because it's what the people are doing. So God wants us to talk about what the people are doing so that the people will know that God knows what you're doing. If we trying to walk correct, like you're supposed to talk about that, that's not good to talk about in a congregation. Maybe if you have a small study group, you can talk. No, God wants you to talk about the fact that he coveting his wife. That's what David was doing. And he coveted her so long to where he wanted her for himself. So in reality, he coveted her so long to where jealousy stepped in, and then he wanted what belonged to somebody else. I'm finna get out of this one because I know y'all ready to. And he had to have slipped over into lust. Lust is nothing more than mentally saying to yourself, I wonder what it would be like. See what I'm telling you? See how y'all didn't want that? And now you find yourself in a good place. Because now something that could be yours, or shouldn't be yours, you're desiring it. Can I tell y'all something bigger than that? This was during a time, because this is Old Testament I'm talking about now, when a man could have as many wives as he wanted. Hold on, dog. You can have as many wives as you want. Why you want mine? However many wives you were capable of providing for, biblically, customary, you could have as many of them as you want. And then on top of that, if you wanted to go a step further, you could have concubines too. So this word of covetousness should have never came into play. But it did because God said so. In Exodus, I told you where to find it at. Exodus 20:17. It's sitting there. So now you carrying the weight. And you weight it down with covetousness because you're desiring something that belongs to somebody else. And I just dropped you off at male, female, but it ain't just male, female. It's their stuff. It's their cattle. All of the animals, the cars they drive, the clothes they wear. Y'all remember some years ago, I know the young folk ought to remember, when they were beating folk up and taking their shoes? Oh, and then y'all remember they had them starter jackets? You remember how they were holding folk up at gunpoint for their jackets? That's a spirit of covetousness. And we're in a society now that has adopted that same spirit of covetousness, but we're doing it legally now. We're putting laws in place to take stuff from people. There are major corporations that decide, I want that land. So there's a law that says intimate domain. In other words, if I'm doing it for a greater good, I can take that. In the Old Testament scripture, land and property belonged to whoever had it. And the only way it could be transferred is if that person decided to give it to you. Now, they ain't got to give it to you. Covetousness. Because we desire things that don't belong to us. And we desire what belongs to someone else. And we'll weight it down. Look at somebody and tell them it's time to lose weight. I'm going to let y'all go. I'm going to let y'all go because there's something that if you pay attention, God will uncover. How many know that on our money it say, in God we trust? How many know that not only on our money does it say, in God we trust, but in our pledge it says, one nation under God, How many know that that was not the forefathers' thoughts? I know it seems like, why is he giving us all of this? Because I want you to be educated enough. Nobody has to like God but you. This is not a country that loves God. I know it sounds like I'm going against every creed. I know every Christian probably cringing, but we got to stop. The only one who has to love God is those who love God. The America that we have pictured and tried to turn into something is an America we created. This nation that we actually are now abiding in, oh, and I love it here. But guess what? It was not founded on Christian principles. First of all, it was founded on thievery. I'm going too far. Because even if we would adopt the history of what was said where Christopher is concerned, because Christopher and them came and stole something. I don't know why we get bent out of shape when we see trickery in society when the nation was founded on trickery. You have to get me a bodyguard. Because the truth is just that. It was years after when they said, put in God we trust on money. Huh? It was years after that when they said one nation. First of all, what about people who come to this country? This country is free. Can I tell you what freedom is? Real quick, and I'm going to give you this one and go. I'm going to do a one and done. Watch this. You got to understand, freedom is the right to believe or not believe. I don't know why we get an argument, oh, you are the devil because you don't believe. No, you have a right to believe. I think it was Joshua who said, choose ye this day whom you going to serve. Now, I'm going to give you some options. You got the God that your father served on the other side of the flood, and now you done came into this new land, and you watching what them folk doing. You need to decide. No. Stop trying to decide what you're going to do as the black people. You need to start deciding what you're going to do as you people. Huh? As mama and them would say, you the one. And once we make some decisions, then Christ will come alive in us. And God will give us access to him. God don't want us loving him because it is said that the United States is a Christian country. Because it ain't. There's too many folk here from different places. You ain't finna tell the Orientals that Jesus, they cool with Buddha. You are a Christian because you found Christ. And if that ain't the reason why, you ain't there yet. You got the Holy Ghost because he lives in you. Not because he just lives somewhere. That's why I can't tell Rena and Pastor Aaron what they feeling when they go up. I can't tell them because that's an inside thing. Oh, it can become pleasing to the eye, and we can go home, get in the mirror, and practice it. But you ain't feeling it. Some weighed it down. Because all of these things will fall into the category of covetousness. We all about the United States and us and the society and the community. All we waiting on is the next best thing. Wasn't nothing wrong with your old phone. A dear friend of mine, he works in the same field that I work in. He said his granddaughter, who's turning 13, she came to him and she said, Papa, I need to get that new iPhone. And he said, I think it's the one that's about $1,200. And he said she's going to be turning 13. And her reason for getting it, she said, because all my friends have one. And he said, I looked at my grandbaby and it hurt me to my heart, but I had to tell her, I said, baby, if all your friends got a $1,200 phone, tell them to break me off some. Because whoever they are, they live in large. Because you're 13 without a job. You better keep flipping that phone. Do you all know that it is a form of covetousness when we allow our children to talk us into getting stuff that we can't afford just so they can run with the Joneses? In the book of Matthew, the 14th chapter, 28 through the 31st verse, and I'm done, there's a situation that takes place. And what it is Jesus comes walking on the water. This is the last wait. You already waited now. You already can't handle what you got on you right now with the unforgiveness and the covetousness. I'm finna throw one more brick on your pile. Jesus comes walking to the disciples on the water. They're out there in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of the sea. He comes walking to them. They became afraid when they saw him. Peter said, if it be thou, bid me come to thee walking on the water. Am I preaching? On the water. Jesus then says, come. And Peter gets out of the boat and begins to walk on the water. I got to go to my notes because I wrote some good notes. Doubt causes you to put on weight because it slows your spiritual metabolism down. See how I twisted that up? You know, your metabolism is what helps you burn fat. Keep your weight down. But doubt slows your spiritual metabolism down. Wait a minute. Which is your faith? See, doubt cancels out faith. Lord, I believe, but help thou. In other words, what that man said, if he would allow me to say it to you in layman's terms, is, Lord, I believe, but there's so many things that point to this ain't going to happen. That's doubt. We don't ever stop at, I believe. Are you willing to die for what you believe? I don't care what y'all say. Lord, I'm running. Trying to make 100. I don't know if I've gotten to that place where if my belief and dying are put in the same category, I would say, well, you just got to kill me. I might take the other road. I might say, well, I think I need to live a little longer because I got stuff I got to get fixed. But when you develop the kind of faith, that's why you got to make sure your faith is always in operation. Because you need to develop the kind of faith that cancels doubt. Because you've been living where doubt cancels faith. I'm going to prove it. Watch this. Peter sees what really happens here. He saw Jesus on the water. Now Jesus ain't walking no more. He's just standing there on liquid, defying all scientific understanding. So he says, I want to get in that with you. His faith, watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. Lord, bid me come to thee. At that point, Peter's metabolism was in overdrive. If his metabolism is faith. Peter was in a place to where I don't know what the rest of y'all 11 gonna do, but I'm finna step out here. If he can do it and can bid me to come, I can do it. Oh, he's finished now. He's finished now. But the wind and the waves got rough. Now, whether you want to admit it or not, there are things in your life that causes the wind and the waves. You walking in faith, then the wind and the waves. Huh? The wind of unemployment, the wind of more month than money. The wind of disobedient children. The wind of you and honey bumping heads. The wind and the waves. Huh? Get rough sometimes. And I found out something. Whichever one you focus on, if you focus on the wind and not Jesus, you're going to get caught up in what the wind can do. You see it? Peter's walking on the water. And then the wind and the waves got rough. Look at it. Look at it. It's right there. I promise you. It's in Matthew 14, chapter 28 through the 31st verse. When that wind and the waves got rough, Peter took his eye off of what had him walking on the. And right then, Peter got heavy. He got too heavy to defy gravity. He got too heavy to do what I already told you scientifically, to stand on water. He got too heavy. Because doubt makes you heavy. And maybe I'm the only one, but I get heavy sometimes where doubt is concerned. Sometimes I look and I say, I know God can do it. But then doubt starts whispering, and doubt says, but will he do it? Oh, I know he can. I know he's a way out of no way. But is he going to be a way this time? Because remember, doubt don't have to do nothing but plant a seed. Doubt told Adam and Eve, you will not surely die. All it has to do is plant a seed. Don't let the seed of doubt grow faster than the seed of faith. The church is doubting way more than the world is. The world is saying, yes, we can. And the church is taking that same stance when the church should be saying, yes, we have. Because the Bible says we are already overcomers. So you got to start realizing what the Bible say about you. The Bible didn't say you're going to overcome. It said you're already an overcomer. Already being an overcomer suggests you've already overcame. And whatever it is that you were trying to overcome, you shouldn't be looking forward at it. You ought to be looking back at it. But doubt always makes you look at the negative and not the positive. Can I say this and get out of here? The doubt that Peter saw made him look at the waves instead of the one who created the waves. Yes, Jesus. Jesus always asks the question after the fact. Here's the question, Carlton. Carlton told the men's ministry. He told them not too long ago in a group text, he said, listen, you can't go back and fix tomorrow. But right where you at, if you start there, you can make a better tomorrow than what your yesterday was. When he finished saying that, Aaron chimed in. He said, preach, preacher. Jesus asked this question, and it's always after the fact. Please hear me, because you're going to be faced with this. See, what we as believers got to realize is there's two entities that see you in church today, baby girl. There's two different sides. God see you here, and he ain't gonna let you fail. But the devil also see you here. And although God won't let you fail, he can't stop you from failing. I know that's big for somebody, because somebody just said, but wait a minute now, hold on a second, hold on, time out. How you saying God won't let you fail, but he can't stop you from failing? I'm gonna give it to him like this, Sean. Jesus said, if you're in my hand, no man can pluck you out. Watch me, Donovan, because I'm finna throw something here. He said, no one can throw me out. But he never said, you can't get out. See, it's a lot of things where God is concerned. The devil ain't pulling us out of nothing. We getting out on our own. God always speaks to us afterwards so that the next time we'll know that he was there. Can I prove it? Get me back to where I said I was. Where was I said? What I said I was in? What book? Was it Matthew? Matthew what? I'm trying to see if y'all with me. Matthew 14 and 28. Here, hold this for me. Matthew, I said Matthew 14 and 28. Because you're dropping a lot of stuff. Matthew 14 and 28. I'm going to read it for myself. I ain't going to do like the mother would say, read. I'm going to read it because I want to. Matthew 14 and what? And 28 to 31. Okay, I see this right here. And at the fourth watch of the night, that's 25, ain't it? And 26 said, and when the disciples saw him, that's 26. And then 27 say, but straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, that's 27. 28 said, and Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee walking on the water. 29, listen to what 29 says. And he said, come. And 30 says, but when he saw the wind boisterous and was afraid, he began to sink. He cried, saying, Lord, save me. 31 says, and immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou Can I tell y'all something? he didn't even bring doubt up until after he had took him. You're supposed to be sticking your hand out right now, Seth. Until he had Peter's hand. And Peter then knew he was safe. Then he said, before you get to shouting and looking back at the other disciples talking about, yeah, I walked on the water before you went there. I need to tell you, you were walking on the water. Why did you doubt? You was making it, Ruby. What made you stop making it? Where that doubt came from? See, anytime doubt shows up, it suggests it had to come from the other fellow. Because, see, God would not promise to do something for you and then turn around and go against that. So when doubt shows up, you're supposed to, let me tell y'all something. How many of y'all been a Christian a long time? Okay, now put your hand down. How many of y'all been knowing Jesus a long time? Can I tell y'all something? Some of us ought to be living in doubtless lives. I could just go to shouting right here. You know why we should be living in doubtless lives? We done seen too much, Angela. From the time that Russell died, and I rushed up there to Henry Medical to meet y'all there when they were bringing him in on the ambulance. From that day till them children that gotten grown, everywhere in between there, Angela, you said, Lord, how am I going to make it and raise these children by myself? Now the children grown. You're supposed to be an evangelist, walking around telling young mothers, baby, hush your mouth. You can make it. And you ain't got to have no man beating on you and taking abuse. You can make it by yourself. How do I know? I made it. And I'm not better than you. I'm just like. What's making you doubt? Can't be but one thing. Homeboy in your ear. God got some of y'all doing better with less money than you did when you thought your pockets were fat. You know why? Because he taught you something that you wasn't going to never learn when you had fat pockets. Huh? See, fat pockets ain't disciplined. Fat pocket throw money away. Fat pockets eat out every night. Huh? Thin pockets go to the grocery store. And they don't shop at Publix. They don't shop at Kroger. They go to Aldi. But when he can put doubt, God told me to tell you to stop doubting him with your health. Speak to your health issues. Stop bringing it to a preacher who got health issues. Pastor, I need you to pray for me because these diabetes is out of control. I'm sitting there looking at you like, hold on, wait a minute. I think I need to go do my insulin right now. Stop bringing stuff to folk who got stuff just like you. Mama and them said, take your burdens to the Lord and leave them there. That's weight. That's weight. I didn't say let's wait. I say that's weight. You carrying weight and wondering why you always spiritually tired. Sitting up in church, can't keep your eyes open. You don't never look like you finna go to sleep when you at the Falcon game. And you ain't even got nobody at the Falcon game hollering in your ear. Because first of all, they don't score enough for you to be hollering. But here you have somebody saying to you, do what God says. Unforgiveness. Anybody got that one? Covetousness. Stop looking at what folk got. Huh? Some of y'all don't even care if it's ill-gotten gain. Shh. How do I know? Some of y'all envious of what drug dealer got. Man, y'all don't say what y'all want to say, but homeboy riding large, man. Homeboy came up here in a 2-seater Bentley. But everywhere he go, he got to do this right here. When I don't care where he at, he got to be like this. You know why he got to do that? Because he can't stand for nobody to be behind him. That boy there jumping in a truck, driving all the way to Detroit, trying to put people's electric and stuff back on. But when he get out of that truck, he ain't got to do that. Because he making his money honest. And then you got parents sometimes. Oh, God, I know I ain't supposed to say this. You got parents sometimes that'll accept that money from that boy and act like they don't know where it's coming from. And then as soon as something happens and they get caught up, they real quick, they go, I didn't even know he was doing that. You should have looked at his W-2. I thank God for the young men that are in this ministry. Because if they sit here long enough or sit under somebody long enough, they can learn how to live and be at peace. Doubt always tell you struggling when you could be rolling. I don't envy nobody. You know why? Because I'm hooked up with the one who can do anything but fail. And you are too. Accept that. Enjoy that. Start repeating to yourself, the joy of the Lord is my strength. Huh? And when don't nobody call you or send you one of them morning messages and text you, you'll think, well, I wonder what's wrong with my girlfriend. She ain't text me nothing yet. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life until she texts me and tell me word of the day. She ain't gave me my word of the day. You know what you ought to do right then? You ought to say, you know what? I know how to encourage. Doors of the church open. If there be one, and you're here, and you know, if it's only one of those things, next week we're going to start getting this weight off, especially now that we know what the weight is. We're going to get it off. And we ain't going to get it off for a short period. We're going to get it off, and we're going to keep it off. Because we got some running to do. Because in that book it says, and let us run the race. It's your race. Stop trying to run your mama race. Stop trying to run your sister race. Stop trying to run your co-worker's race. Stop trying to be a bird that flock together. Be an eagle. You ever notice eagles don't hang out with nobody? Have you ever noticed that one of the birds that the Bible talks about is an eagle? See, you got some birds, they hang together. They got a leader, and the rest of them follow it. You see, when you see those flying over your head, you better duck, first of all. But when you see them flying over your head, and it look like about 100 of them, look to the front. You're going to see one a little bit further out than everybody else. And I don't care what he do. If he do that right there, the rest of them we going too. An eagle get up high. Do you know those particular birds that are flying over and they following each other? Do you know they working hard to get where they going? Trying to get where they going. Do you know an eagle has a trick? He just goes straight up. He get up so high, then he don't flap his wings no more. He let the wind carry. However he want to go, he just like, if he want to go up some more, wings like that, he'll take him up some more. When he come down, guess what? He rested. Rest of the birds running around talking about something. I need some drink. I need some drink. I need some drink. Go home and write down all the people names that you need to forgive. Even if you can't contact them, because some folk don't want you to contact them. It'll scare some of y'all or some of them if you call them and say, hey, Sharice, this Tiffany. Tiffany who? She know who you is. You know Tiffany, the one who you I don't want to talk about that part. I just wanted to let you know I'm cool. You ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to duck me every time you see me. I'm good. Whatever it is, I forgive you. All of a sudden, if you listen closer, you won't hear nothing but weight hitting the floor. Boom, boom, boom. Then your back will get straight. Then you'll get a skip in your walk. Because the lighter you get, the easier you walk. Get that forgiveness out. If you want to ask God for something, ask him for it. But don't be looking at nobody else stuff talking about, I want that. He like, that ain't yours. You really gonna ask me for Stephanie's stuff? It's not how he works. He owns the whole world. And then don't doubt him. If God has promised anybody in here something and you done gave up on the promise because it ain't happened yet, don't doubt the promise. The promise never dies. Don't doubt it. It'll come to pass. If you don't believe it, ask Caleb. Caleb said, y'all, God, you promised me that mountain 40-some years ago. And guess what you did? You kept me just as strong for 40 years till I could get to. Now give me my mountain. Don't give up on him. How many gonna come back next Sunday? And if you can't make it back in the house, please be online. But how many of y'all are going to do that and get ready to go through this weight losing process. Because only thing I did today was tell you that you were carrying that weight. Now I got to tell you how to lose it. Because you don't lose it like Jenny Craig say. You don't lose it like Golo say. That's physical weight. Huh? There's some ways that the Word of God will tell you what you got to do to lose the weight. And the biggest problem with that is we don't really want to do it that way. The worse that it hurt, the more you need to let it go. Because that's the heavier that it is as far as weight. Gospel has been preached, invitation has been extended. None have come. While you're standing here in the presence, when you